and I'd like to welcome my viewers as well as my panelists to the relevant discussion. On my right, I have Adam Perkins, Supervising Manager, Devin Baptiste, Youth Director, Quincy Dames, Actor, Lynn Webb, Business Manager, and John Nelson, Writer. Okay, so gentlemen, today our topic is the Black family in peril. And our discussion, or rather this discussion, is not so much about the oppression that we faced as African Americans, which absolutely has been a catalyst in the breakdown of the Black family, but more discussion about our responsibility in it and what we can do as a community, or more specifically, you, since I have you gentlemen here, what you can do as African American males to help heal and redeem the Black family.
I think we're holding on to a paradigm though that's passing, whereas it's not no more of a Black family structure, or family structure for that matter. And it's nobody really training the kids that, okay, if you have a son or a daughter and you're a single father, this is how you do it. Right. Because I think that model of man, woman, family unit, I think it's just passing away.
Absolutely agree. They don't have the image of the father in the home, so when anytime a man comes, it's intimidating, or they feel like it's a threat.
But the only authority that they know is the police. That's what an average Black kid knows as authority. Not a Black male, not a pastor, minister, but a grandpa even.
I mean, how does that play out when you deal with the youth? Is it hard initially to get them to trust you so they understand male authority?
I treat a lot of my kids in my program like my son. Some of them, I know I can grab them and pull their pants up and be like, come on man, you're better than that. And some of them you have to just kind of give them the rationale of why and the whole spiel about, well, you don't want to do this and make that a pattern in your life thing. So you know, it's how you deal with them, but if you're consistent in a kid's life, he'll trust you. And once he trusts you, you know, you got them.
Let me give you some statistics. Today, 60% of African American students earning college degrees are Black women. In 1960, there were 70 employed civilian Black men for every 100 Black women. In 1990, there were only 40 for every 100 Black women. And according to the 2010 U.S. Census, today the number of female-headed households in the African American community surpasses those of married couples among any race, dating back to 1950. So that said, I'll go with you, Quincy. How has the vastly changing gender roles and the current culture push for the metrosexual male challenged the role of the African American male and the infrastructure of the Black family? And I'd like you to speak to that too, Davin.
Well, I feel like there's really a push for a sort of ambiguity or an ambiguousness
in the gender roles?
In the gender roles. Okay. It's okay for Johnny to be just like Sally and Sally to be just like Johnny when there are distinct difference, or we're talking about Black families like Shamika to be like Jerome, Jerome to be like Shamika. Yeah. You know, so you know. And I'm saying that to say that I feel like the differences that we've been, the God-given differences that we've been given, the lines have now been have been smeared or blurred.
I think there's a unique thing that a woman brings to the table and a man brings to the table, and that the purpose is to complement each other and go forward in that.
I believe that integration and the women's liberation movement killed the Black family. And this is why. When you're married, there is a hierarchy in the household.
Yes.
It is, just as it is in any successful business, so on and so forth, and partnerships. The man and the woman, we're same in essence. We're the same person, but difference in function. And when that function got changed and shifted to the woman, I can make my own money, I could do this, that, and other. And then even welfare got brought in. What do I need your money for? I can get money from the state. Thus, the Black man really doesn't have a need for him. And if I don't have a need, then I'll break down.
But if the Black man is not in the home, then the woman has to take the responsibility of being head of household. So then she's taking on something that maybe she didn't want. And there's still a possibility, don't you think, even if women's live where we are more empowered or we're out getting a job, but I can still be in a relationship with a man and let him be head of house and still make money.
Liberation of money. Money is looked at as power. Money is looked at as more say-so, and decision-making brings a friction.
I understand the need for a man to feel useful, and you are useful. There is a need for a man in the home. But I also feel like if I'm making money, or if there's a chance for me that I'm making more money than my counterpart, but it's still, if I respect him as the head of that house, then if I'm respecting you, then it's, do you still think it's an issue?
Oh yeah, but you know, the respect level is not even there.
But do you think it's impossible for a woman?
Oh no, I'm not. It's not impossible. Improbable. In most cases, and the statistics show it.
Economic climate, man, you want some woman making money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be bringing home.
But you don't want her telling you. You don't want her telling you. Well, I make the money, so I'm making the decisions, though.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know, it's great to have a strong woman who makes money. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Beautiful thing.
So Erin does make more than me. I'm comfortable with that. And if she comes to me in the right way and not hold on. With the attitude, because I'll use the word attitude. And it's like, well, we're getting this blue car because I'm making more money. Then, or if she comes to me like, well, babe, you know, maybe it's just a way about the communication and the approach.
It truly is.
And I think when you got dudes who are running out on their responsibilities or dipping out because they're just making excuses. That's excuses for a weak man, period.
For example, my father I had a mother and father, stayed together 54 years until my father passed. Yeah, but the thing was, it was a time when my mom wasn't working. Then she got a career, and then my father got his business closed down. The business that he was at closed down. He was in the transition period. So my mom pretty much kept us afloat. My father took the responsibility to pick us up from school, cooking, became Mr. Mom. Never did I see my mom belittle my father. Not one time did I mean, she fussed and all that. I just think black women have that gene in them. But never was he belittled, and never did he feel like his contribution was less than, even though his contribution wasn't money. And I think that you know, women cut from that cloth are becoming rare.
Definitely
rare. A little bit rare. That you know, of course, we dubbed it as attitude, or respect level, but it's more so than you know. He said we wouldn't run from our responsibilities, but if a woman was in the house and saying, making you feel less than,
then
it's time to go, because then you're checking my man.
Hold on. I don't necessarily mean it's time to go. It's time for us to have this talk. About, look, this is what is going to go down, and if this continues to go like this, then maybe we need to just either separate or
And I agree. It's about respect, and it's about staying in your lane. If you're the man of the house, and I respect you as the man of the house, it doesn't matter who's making what, because you're the head of the house.
So
period.
you're a good woman, so you say.
You're a rare breed. Yes, very rare.